Please.
So, Richard, I wonder, so same question, do you cry sometimes?
Yes, I haven't cried for any reason apart from a deceased person lately. So thank God, I've been happy most of the time. And well, maybe I don't remember crying when I'm happy, but yes, I cry. I have tears. You know, crying is a display of vulnerability, and it takes a strong person to show that they are vulnerable, both men and women. Vulnerability is a strength. It's not a weakness, like Otiko said. So yes, there are times that I have wept for various reasons. The most recent one, of course, was because I was bereaved. I was at
But how do you pick yourself up?
As Otiko said, yes, my faith is very strong. I have learned, I have self-empowered, so I look at every situation and assess it. I'm a positive person, so the glass is never half empty.
Yeah. So sorry, so you are self-empowered. How do you achieve that?
I actually took a course in empowerment, and I teach courses in empowerment for especially to women. So I learned to take the lessons from what you would call a failure or a mistake. I take the lessons. I don't victimize myself. So because of that, I'm able to pick myself up very quickly and say, well, you know, at least you learned this from this experience, rather than sit back and beat myself up over it. It's done. It's gone. Life goes on, and you've got to get on with it. So that is the way I live my life right now. I self-assess. I assess the situation. Was it in my control? It wasn't in my control. What could I possibly do? But it takes a certain self-assuredness and a certain self-esteem to say, this is what I learned and this is what I'm taking away. There's also the thing of taking responsibility. You know, we must take responsibility for our lives. I think the one thing we don't do, all of us in this country, is take responsibility. We want someone in power, but we won't vote for the person. We want things to go a certain way, but we won't run for office, or we won't, campaign for it. Every Ghanaian, and every woman for that matter, must decide exactly what they want in their life and what they want from their candidates, and demand it. Step out and say, look, I want healthcare at this level. I want education at this level. I want my life, my social life, my livelihood to be at this level. What are you doing about it? And when you start to take responsibility, you will actually start to feel that I must run for office. I must take control and make it happen, because I can.
I've got another question which I have often heard. But joining us back via Skype is Madam Paulina Bayage, who rejoins us. Maybe I should put this question to you. There are some people out there who seem to believe that all the successful women, I mean, many successful women that we see, people in high places, people who are making progress, somehow, even with all the qualifications that they may have, some people seem to still think that a man should be doing them some favors. That's why they are where they are. How do we get over that perception?
Unfortunately, that's the society we are in. And it's not even just in Africa or Ghana. It's across the world. Like you've got to have a bomb to be sitting on the man, or some weird favors to them in order to get this favor that you are getting. I'm talking of favors in court, But I keep saying, assuming the person didn't have the qualification and all educational background, even if the person did that supposed favor, will the person get position? Great. We must be given credit for the praise that we have and all the knowledge and intelligence that we have, and the strength, that innermost strength that women have, that men usually just not men, society just usually gloss over. We are stronger than we think, both mentally, sociologically, and physically. We are very strong. And before we get to wherever we are, we must have worked hard for it. So this whole idea of we do something to gain those first whack. I mean, sorry to use that phrase. Yes.
Okay, great. Let me put that question to you. Is our, you know, is there always a man doing us one favor or the other, as some people may want to believe, that no matter how qualified you are for a certain position, some man must either be sleeping with you or wanting to sleep with you to give you that opportunity?
And can want to sleep with a woman? Wanting to sleep with a woman doesn't mean that you're going to sleep with them. It's your choice whether you sleep with somebody or not. So it is not a force. That's what women must understand. You can get a job without sleeping with anybody. But we all need favors from each other, men and women alike. Whether if I wanted to buy Zumi and I don't know where to go, she would be doing me the favor of availing her time to show me where to get it. That doesn't mean that I'm sleeping with her. She's just, and then like Paulina said, we can lobby for things that we want. The important thing is that you know that you have choice and that the actions, your actions and inactions impact on your life. Women who sleep around a lot of the time for favors in terms of a job or in politics, what happens is that the men also talk. And when you want a certain top position, they'll bring all of them out and call you a prostitute. So it's important that you make those decisions very early in life, how you are going to conduct yourself in this role of decision making, whether it's in the boardroom or the corporate world, whether you are the chief director or you are in the media house, wherever you are who you are first. And your self-esteem, your self-respect must be important. We must be people of integrity. We are the nurturers of our children. We are the shapers of this Ghana that we are in. And so you yourself must be well-shaped, mentally, physically, psychologically, everythingly. And then when the issues come, you deal with them objectively. As and when there is the need, you can also be subjective. But you don't sell your soul to the devil. You don't give what you cannot get back. And once you give that out, that is it. That is it. You must understand that you can make it without sleeping with anybody. That is very, very important. But if you choose to sleep with somebody, that is your choice. But you should not think that you cannot make it without sleeping with somebody.
Okay.
You are where you are. Are you not married? Are you sleeping with somebody to be where you are? Exactly. I was married for 21 years. I chose to get a divorce, and I am a self-made woman. I don't think anybody would say that it's because I slept with them, that's why I am where I am. Nobody would dare. I am who I am by the grace of God and my friends and my circumstances and what have you. The things that go into developing a human being cannot just be going to bed with one person. That is cheapening the things. We have integrity. We are women of value. We are mothers. We have pride. You know,
so let me ask
we
Bridget,
can't do that.
because you mentor girls, is it a difficult thing trying to pass it on, that you can actually do it? I mean, there are a lot of obstacles, but you can pull through.
Actually not. Like I said, I do training and empowerment, but it's amazing that this last batch, and hello to all of them, we were together from Wednesday. We had a full day of seminars on Wednesday. On Thursday, we visited institutions. On Friday, we had half a day of seminars. And then Saturday, we had the walk. And by the end of these 4 days, you can tell that there's a transformation. There's a transformation in the thinking. There was a 19-year-old who on Saturday got up and said, you know, I have realized that I have to do it by myself. I can't do it for, nobody needs to do it for me. And I was really happy. She's 19. She said, look at me. I look older than my age, and she does. And she said, so people approach me differently, expecting me to be a bit more mature than I am. And now I've learned that I do not need to do that. I do not need to be with anybody for favors. You know, when you think about it, you really don't. It must be a choice. And when you do, if you do make that choice, this is a bit controversial, but if you do make that choice, you're not a victim. You are also taking something off of him. He also has cheapened himself. Yeah. Yes, he also has cheapened himself. You know, so if you really want to do that, You could also look at it that way. The point is this something you can display? Will you proudly say, well, I did this and this is where I am right now? Probably not. This is what you should look at. It is also the easier way out. It is the easiest way out, you know, and it is instant gratification, because whatever you're going to get, you will get it. But you need to then prove yourself. Can you prove yourself after that? You need brains, you need the skills, you need the ability. Yes, you know, step with this person and got there. How do you progress? You got your foot in the door, or you got the seat. Now perform.
What happens
when you are
if
not,
the person is no longer there?
Yes, and when you're not able to prove yourself, this is when people start to say, oh, she did this or did that. So first of all, make sure you are skilled and you are in the position. And when you have all that, you won't need that act to get you where you are.
Let's bring another great woman into the conversation. Dr. Margaret Ivy Amwakohene is a senior lecturer at University of Ghana and chair of the University of Ghana's Anti-Sexual Harassment Committee, which obviously was very topical not too long ago. Madam, good morning. Thank you for your time. Happy International Women's Day to you.
Hello, good morning.
Great to have you. So because of the special area where you're coming from, we want to talk about academics. And I know, for instance, that there are some great women in academia, but the success stories are not usually told. Maybe I'm wrong.
Can you raise your voice a little bit? I can hardly hear you.
Okay, I hope it's better because... hello, madam, can you hear me now? Better?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, great. So I was just asking about the great success stories of women in academia. And I'm wondering, have we had a lot of such women?
Well, we've had quite a number, but we won't say a lot of them because of the kinds of problems that women encounter in climbing the academic ladder. You know, we've had quite a number, but we wouldn't say we are satisfied with the number that we've had.
So as we're focusing and we're talking about equality, what would make us get there? What are we deliberately doing to get there?
I think what we are doing is, I would say the number one thing is to support women. And support really should come not just from the establishment, but also from the home. You know, the woman has to balance so many things. Your children, your home, your career, everything you are balancing. And the universities don't have different criteria for promotion for men and women. You use the same criteria. And sometimes even a husband and a wife are both academics, and yet the woman is multitasking, doing all kinds of things. The man only stays in his study, comes out, eats, and gets back to the study, and the woman is still in the kitchen and things like that. And so we really have a lot to do, and I think that much of it should be support. In terms of ability, capability, intelligence, I think women are equal to their male counterparts. But what we need is the space for women to advance, and that has always been a problem for us.
Do women also have to do extra? Do you have to prove yourself in academia to get to, for instance, where you are today as senior lecturer?
That's why I said that the criteria for promotion are the same. It's not less for women. You have the same criteria. You must publish, you must be involved in community service, you must be involved in research. And in fact, the University of Ghana has added so many things. You must show your teaching portfolio as being something that is supportive of the teaching and learning environment. You must be assessed by your students positively, and so many things that come together. And it's the same for men and for women. But because of the hindrances, the encumbrances that women have, it makes it a little bit more difficult to advance. But in terms of criteria, the criteria are the same for both male and female.
Do we need to deliberately make it easier for women in terms of a different standard for women so they can climb?
I don't think so.
No.
You know, you don't want somebody to say that, oh, you were able to climb because the ground was made softer for you. We just want to compete on an equal keel, you know. So what we are saying is that maybe some of the things that women are saddled with can be removed, so that when we are talking about academia, we are looking at people doing similar jobs, having similar responsibilities, and yet working hard to ensure that they are promoted. If you lessen the criteria for women, then you are almost saying that we are not as equal as we think we are. But I think that we are equal to our men folk, and therefore what we need really is that, I mean, for instance, it takes women to have children anyway, but it takes both the male and the female to take care of the children. But in most homes, you have the women being the ones taking care of the children, seeing to their school, washing their clothes, cleaning the house and all that. Somebody may say you need a household, but how can you entrust everything to the hands of a household? So your mind is at work, your mind is in the home. And this is a kind of balancing act that women have to do. But if you ask me, I would say that, no, we don't want any criteria that are different from what our counterparts who are male have to go through. Because even with the present situation, there are some women who are climbing higher than some men anyway. So I think that what we need are more of social support, more of the support that we obtain from home, and more of ensuring that women are not judged by a different standard, which tends to be more stringent than the standard that is used in judging men.
So we're talking equality, and we tend to put the spotlight, the focus on it every year when we're talking International Women's Day. Would we ever get there?
I think we will come a long way. I think we will. I mean, the march may be slow. The march may not come as fast as some of us wish it would, but we will get there. I mean, if you look at the circumstances under which some of us grew up and compared to the circumstances under which our daughters are growing up, they are completely different. And I'm sure that their children will have an even much better environment to grow up in. And so we'll get there. It may be slow, but we'll get there. And, you know, we need to work at it. Some women worked for some of us to climb, and we must work for others to also climb. And as we go ahead, things may get better.
Okay, so let me put the focus on you then. What are you deliberately doing so that the girls coming up, you know, would have better opportunities?
You know, what I'm trying to do is to let them know that it is possible. And I always share with them in class, for instance, some of the things I've had to go through. And tell them that, I mean, you can get pregnant and still complete your school, for instance. Yeah. Because I had my first child when I was doing graduate diploma. And it never stopped me. And so you don't stop there because there is something that stops you along the way. You continue. And then I also ensure that I identify people who I think can make it. It's not everybody who has the capacity to go to become an academic, for instance, or to become whatever. So it's for you to identify what the person can do and kind of give them the encouragement that they can do it. Sometimes they find me too hard in terms of pushing them, but I tell them, the world is not a soft place. If you want to make progress, you must kind of charge yourself and push yourself even harder than you would want to do. So I tell them, for instance, when they come to school, I tell them, you know, freeze your social life for a while and see how you can navigate through this academic environment that you've come to. But if you want to combine social life with going out late and coming back home late, then you won't succeed. And so what I do is to kind of give them the advice that will help them climb. And some of them look at your lifestyle and they want to be like you. And what you can do is to encourage them to work harder. And not to think that because you're a woman, you can always go higher because you have, soft skills and all that. Sometimes your soft skills may carry you somewhere. But in most cases, people are looking at other things that justify that you can do it. You know, unfortunately, we are compared to our male counterparts without looking at the fact that we have other things that kind of make it difficult for us to advance as quickly as they are advancing. And this is what I try to help them to do. Sometimes they think this is too difficult, and I say it's not, because I've gone through it. And one thing that has helped me through all this, I always say, is my mother. You know, my mother is always there. For all the 3 children I've had, she's always there to take care of them for me to advance. And I always tell people, my 2 girls, I left them when they were just 6 months old. And my mom had to take care of them because I needed to pursue my career. And this is something that girls need to know, that you cannot have it on a silver platter.
Great. Well, one of them, maybe just before we let you go, One of the other issues, sometimes girls won't talk about it, but it's a big issue, is sexual harassment or harassment on the way when you're trying to make progress. And sometimes you're left between, do you speak up because you think about all the other things associated with coming out? And then on the other hand, you also know that there are some people who go through it quietly. So it's very difficult. Where do you make that decision? At what point? Like what are the support systems, essentially, I'm asking, when a girl is in a fix, trying to progress, and there are hurdles on the way, such as sexual harassment?
You know, fortunately, in most academic institutions today, you have entities that are in charge of sexual harassment and monitoring that people are not unnecessarily abused. You know, what I think these girls should know is that there is support for them. Somehow, they think that because we are colleagues, the man who is harassing her is my colleague, and therefore I'm not going to be on her side. What I try to let them know is that I see you more as my daughter. And between you and my colleague, I think the choice is clear. And it's for them to seek support. And each time they've been bold enough to seek support, they have received what they needed. You know, sometimes they are afraid. We hear all kinds of stories. And even when you approach them, they don't want to be forthcoming. And so you don't know whether these are stories or these are real things that people are going through. But all I'll say is that they should speak up. And for instance, the University of Ghana has their sexual harassment committee. That is there for them. And membership includes even students. And therefore, if you cannot approach me, you can approach your own colleague who is a student, and then she lifts this thing up to us, and then we take it up from there. But when you suffer in silence, and as I always say, you are emboldening the person who is harassing you. Because somehow he comes under the notion that nothing had happened to him because you haven't reported. But if you do, then you have help. And you kind of stop him. If nothing at all, we let him know that our eyes are on him. And therefore, that becomes some kind of mitigation. And you are allowed the space that you need to progress as a student or as a worker or whatever. But we know this is the real fact. And we know some of them are afraid to speak up. And beyond seeking help, I really don't know what else we can say to them.
Dr. Margaret Amwakahene, thank you very much for your time this morning. Thank you for contributing to this conversation. Back in the studio, maybe I should let you have a say on this harassment issue. How do you get past people not seeing you beyond, I like you and I want to sleep with you? Sometimes you want people to focus, especially men. Focus, but they don't seem to see you beyond what they are thinking. What do you do?
Speak out. Speak out. Tell them this is not what it's about. I think sometimes we have this thing where it says, oh, you must show respect. Or you're trying to be polite about it and all that. Speak up. What has that person has done in trying to harass you or looking at you in a certain ways, they've brought whatever respect they deserve, they've brought it down. So deal with them on that basis. Tell them this is not what it's about. And, you know, sometimes we are afraid that, I will be victimized or I will, you are frightened. But if you speak up, the person actually then has a certain renewed respect for you, or they avoid you, which is fine. Harassment's over. But the thing is to speak up. Like she said, come and tell her about it, or confront the person about it and say, you know, you need to stop this. I can't deal with this. You know, sometimes I hear men say, oh, if she says no, if she keeps saying no, one day she'll say yes. No, one day she will know is no. And you must stick by your guns and say, I said no, it's not going to happen. And I've had the occasion where, look, even those of us at this age still get harassed. When I say that to the young ladies, they are surprised. We still get harassed. And I've had to be very nasty to someone to say, you know what, I'm getting tired of this. And now we have a very respected relationship.
So you can do that and still have a relationship with the person?
If you choose.
Okay.
And if he chooses not to have, well, see you, bye. Yes.
Madam Otiko?
No, it's no. No, it's no. The girls, the women, everybody,
must learn to say no if they don't want sex. And you don't say, oh, no. No! And no means you don't go to the places that will let it look as if you are saying yes, but you are pretending. What are you doing in his bedroom if you are saying no? What are you doing in his house alone if you are saying no? There are some situations that if you don't make yourself say no emphatically, your no might be misconstrued for a yes.
There are times that you're looking for a favor. I mean, you've hustled through it. Nobody's giving you the opportunity. This one person is at least trying to reason, but he has this. I mean, he's making advances, but you can reason with him, right? So it really doesn't matter where he invites you to. You think that you can try to present something. I know some people would think that way. You can try to present and make a good case.
I'm coming there. Number one, you decide whether you want to pass your exams or you want to climb the ladder the hard way by not going to bed with other people. But if somebody who is your boss or your lecturer is insisting that this is the way to do it, you have to let them know that this is not acceptable. It can't happen. And if you are not going to mark my scripts properly, then I will report you, and you go ahead and do that. You don't wear some kind of suggestive dresses to his home and all of that, because you don't want to encourage him. The other part is that you study hard, because there will be repercussions. Sometimes when you say no to somebody, they will treat you badly, and it has happened to me. When I said no to somebody, later on in life, when I wanted some things done, he was so horrible to me. But I took it in my stead. And I said to him that, look, it doesn't matter how nasty you are. It's not going to change my position on the fact that I don't want to go to bed with you. But I am going to do my work as I'm supposed to. And if you mess me up, I will mess you up. Sometimes when you are young, it's more difficult to do that. But you have to learn to protect yourself, because when you do that, you degrade yourself, and then the person thinks that they can do it to anybody, other people. And it's just not on. And the people men must also understand that, as my sister was saying. You don't have the right to somebody's body just because you are their boss, or you are their lecturer, or you are in a position to influence their lives. Would you be sleeping with your daughter because your daughter wants a new shoe? Because half the time these girls are like their daughter's ages and stuff like that. Would you be asking your daughter to sleep with somebody for grades or for promotion, or for maybe they want a new dress or something? What you don't want to be done to your daughter, don't do to somebody's daughter. And the girls who go around selling things, I keep telling them, like, they sell bread or oranges or things. Don't go into the man's room. Stand outside and sell your thing. And then sometimes the teachers say, oh, in the JHSS and then the SHS, oh, bring the books to my house. Bring it into my room. You can't say no. So go with somebody else. And that somebody else must not leave you there alone. And when you go, don't enter his bedroom. Why is he asking you to enter his bedroom? If you're bringing books for marking, leave them on the table in the hall or outside. And women, mothers, please start educating your children early about their sexuality. Teach them that there are areas that can be touched. There's safe touching and unsafe touching. If somebody is touching even a little girl wrongly, and the child knows that this is wrong, she will tell the mother. But we don't. And then I heard that a 3-year-old girl was defiled. I condemn that emphatically. After 25 years of Beijing, and you are defiling a 3-year-old girl in this Ghana, then they will hide it, push it under the carpet, settle it out of court. This is a criminal offense. You cannot be defiling 3-year-olds or anybody under 18. That must stop. The strong arm of the law must be visited on that teacher and on anybody else who defiles or rapes somebody. The Nujaba Foundation is condemning this act. It must stop. This nonsense must stop. We cannot continue to... Look, grown-up women, we are there, boo. doing with a little girl? Spoiling her, destroying her womb, and what have you? What is happening in your head that you would do that to a girl under 18? Can you do that to your own daughter? I know there are some issues of incest, but if the law takes this, and that is there are some of the things I mentioned in my statement, that the time has come for laws protecting the rights of women to be enforced. If you say that every girl of school-going age should be in school, why are all these girls on the road during school-going hours? Why is FGM still going on? Why are teachers impregnating girls? Then they will transfer the teacher to a rural place. And you will go and do the same thing in that rural place. I'm a mother, I have 2 daughters. I wouldn't want that to happen to any of my children. So parents must start telling their children early that, look, if uncle is touching you like this, it is wrong. Even if daddy is touching you like this, it is wrong. Let me know. And you must be close to your child so that the child is not afraid to tell you these things. And now that is happening to boys, the boy child as well must be informed. We need to teach our children early. And these so-called uncles and people who are supposed to protect the child, who are rather defiling the child, must stop.
Absolutely.
It is against the law.
Let's get this is the final take. We have to bring the conversation to a close. So let Auntie Paulina also talk about the sexual harassment issue that we've been talking about. Auntie Paulina, I'm sure you've been following.
Got to let your child be so proud of his or her own body, his or her sexuality. Once we do that and the children grow up, and we've got to be friends with them. The first person a child should have confidence in is the parent, especially the mother. For the child to be able to tell you and give you the telltale signs that some things are going wrong. Once we empower them and they grow up to be empowered children, they're able to look straight in the face of anybody, they can any advantage for any reason, and tell them that no. And no must no. And no must, wherever we find ourselves, whether in school, at workplaces. I know, especially at workplaces, most of the young find it difficult to look into the faces of their bosses to say no. What gladdens my heart is that of late, society is beginning to talk about it. Once we begin to talk about sexual harassment, it's a topical issue both at home and among in the society, in the media. It becomes something that people get conscious about. And once we get conscious about it, I'm sure that we'll do something about it. As Madam People also said, the question you should be asking yourself is, will you do that to your daughter? How will you feel if somebody is doing that to your daughter? Will you do that to your son? How will you feel if somebody is doing that to your son? We must engage conscience society, engage the conscience of state. Unfortunately, most of these people who do that have some psychological or mental problems that I think, unfortunately, we don't have those symptoms also to check. So apart from the criminality, is the question, why would a grown-up look at a 3-year-old baby? What is it on a 3-year-old baby that is so attractive that you will feel enticed if you really are correct up there? You know, those are we must be asking. Because sometimes I think that some people are trying to. We must also, I am of that school that thinks that the fact that I've opened my door does not mean you can't steal. Opening my door is not criminal. Stealing because I've opened my door is criminal. And the fact that our young girls are dressed is provocative. It's not enough for anybody to rape or defile anybody. I grew up, of course, in the South, but when I was a teenager, I came home and I saw women in those days walk almost stuck with the jacket. You know, all they had was thieves in front of them and then at the back. Then they go and fight. We didn't have cases of rape. Down south, I saw girls who's Amwase, from one village, carry cake, go around and why should somebody rape my daughter because she's wearing a mini skirt? Why about that? In the development, people wear bikini, they walk all over they are not rapes. That's not an excuse either.
Yeah.
We must punish crime for crime. And if they need to be checked up their heads, they must be checked.
All right.
We've got to, as a society, we've got to stand strong against it. Yeah.
Madam Tangova, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for spending time with us on this conversation. And I wish you well with the campaign. I hope to see you in Parliament pretty soon.
Sure, I'm going to be there.
Make sure you make it to Parliament.
I'm going to be in Parliament. Watch
Great.
me.
And I'll be campaigning for you. I'll ask all the women in your constituency to vote for you.
Please, thank you. I need that. Happy.
All right, and that's the Upper East Regional Minister joining us via Skype from Bolga. All right, so ladies, what's up next for you?
Yeah, on the 5th of March, I was in Kufodria with over 300 women. We organized a community deba with sponsorship from Cocoa Life.
Okay.
And supported by Abantu, Abantu Development, and then Solidaridad, and the Henry Jaba Memorial Foundation. And it brought together women from the grassroots level, queen mothers, farmers, women in cocoa farming, persons with disability, women with disability. They all came and we talked about our issues as women and the way forward. And one of the things that we did, or we agreed on, was that every girl child must be educated. You must be in school and finish school. You must get yourself out of poverty. Even if you are in the tertiary, you can learn how to make shito or bead or something, bead jewelry, or sell zomi or kinky, something, that the extra money that you need, you can use those things for. That we should not discriminate against anybody because they are a woman or a person with disability. That it is okay for women with disability to get married, to go into politics. I met a very special lady with disability. And she has a degree in IT.
Okay.
Yes. And she's doing graphic designing. Very intelligent. She tried to even stand for Parliament in the previous session. And they wouldn't vote for her because of her disability. Disability can occur and happen to anybody. A person's disability is never inability.
Yeah.
And so we need to give people the opportunity to exhibit their full potential.
Absolutely.
But like I said, if they won't give it to you, please take it.
Okay.
Take it. And so I want to say, each for equal.
Yes. Yes.
Each for equal. Don't let anybody put you down.
Yeah.
Be strong. Be strong. Don't be afraid. Being a woman makes you strong.
Yeah.
We are the carers of Mother Ghana. We are the nurturers. And if Ghana is going to achieve its full potential, the women must be there.
Thank you.
And the men must not stop us.
Amen. Bridget, I thank you for your time this morning. Oh, unless you wanted to say just closing remarks.
Well, in all this, the first thing we need is agency, voice. Every woman in Ghana must have a voice to speak up. I mean, without voice, you can't run up for office, you can't, speak up without fear. The worst which will happen is they'll kill you. And if they kill you, unfortunately, that might be the way you were meant to die. But most times they won't kill you. What happens is when you speak up and you step up, they step back because they realize it's a force they are dealing with.
So speak up.
But you must speak up, make yourself heard in every circumstance.
All right. Thank you very much for spending time with us, really. Madam Secretary Jaba, thank you very much for your time as well. Stay with us. We've got more coming your way here on the AM Show.